Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Start with Nina. So, Nina is doing her best to sit there and try to push Jax away. Um, Now, my question for Jax, or my question is, Jax tried so hard to broker this whole deal with Michael to have more visits with Wiley, and Michael agreed. Why wouldn't that not be his opening statement or his opening with Nina as far as to getting her to soften up a little bit? I mean, you gotta sit to remember, for about 2 episodes or so, um, Nina was doing everything she could to sit there and try to push Jax away. Saying, "Oh, you lied to me, and you kept me in the dark, and yada yada yada." Jax, you tried so hard to, well, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a scumbag tactic. I mean, you're doing that just sit there and try to get in her good graces, but yet you sit there and try to act like you're better than Valentine. So whatever. Anyway, he's going on and on and on about how you should sit there and give me another chance. We work it out and yada yada yada. Now Gunman shows up. Gunman shows up, and Jax, I guess he thought he was Batman. To an extent, he kind of was. He did take out the gunman, but not before the gunman shot him. Now, I'm sitting there thinking, wouldn't it be so convenient if Jax gets shot and he couldn't sit there and identify Sonny? And of course he gets shot. So, he gets shot. Now, Sonny and Phyllis also have a gun pointed at them by a guy. Like, Jesus Christ, like Nixon Falls is becoming the Wild West. Like, anyway, when the gun goes off, the guy who's pointing the gun at Sonny gets distracted. Sonny gets the upper hand. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just like, Sonny, you're so close to this guy, and I get that he can shoot you, but, well, you're so close. Why can't, whatever. Anyway, he gets the gun. He gets the gun out the guy's hand, and Jax is shot. Jax is shot. The paramedics come in. Nina's crying and hoping that he wakes up and opens his eyes and everything like that. Now, Sonny walks up and is like, "Nina, you okay?" When Jax, is on a stretcher or whatever, he opens up his eyes. He sees Sonny before he passes out. Now I'm sitting there thinking, I wonder what kind of cake I'm going to get. Which brings me to my little game. When this whole thing hits the fan, Nina gets exposed, I would like that everyone try to get some cake. And when you're putting a comment down, for that episode, let me know what kind of cake that you have. Cake, balloons, whatever. Whatever you want to do, write it down in the comment section below. We're going to have what I like to call a little petty party. Because why not at this point? Now, with that being said, there's a couple of scenes, I'm not going to lie, that, well, they may have like one or two good parts, but I feel like ultimately they're just somewhat pointless. Not somewhat pointless, but kind of just like, was that scene really needed? Like, okay, we'll start with the Molly and TJ stuff. Molly decides she wants to be a DA instead. She talks about how the system worked in her favor as far as her mom's concerned. Now TJ is like, well, it didn't really work out for my dad. And he pled innocent towards the same thing. My dad's in jail a lot longer than your mom. So let's just sit there and say the system doesn't always work for, for all of us. Which, I'm not going to lie, I thought that was pretty interesting because, well, TJ is correct. And, Molly is just like, I can be the person that can change, that can, do some change within the system. But, I don't know. I thought that part was particularly interesting because it's something that Stella said as far as, when they got together, whatever, that, they may have certain challenges or whatever because of, the color of their skin. Which, I'm not going to get into a whole philosophical conversation, but she wasn't entirely wrong. And so the look on Molly's face when, TG said that was like, yeah, that's a reality. I also thought that was pretty interesting because, well, they are dating in real life. And, you know, as much as people don't like to sit there and talk about race, when you're dating somebody of a different race or whatever, and they want to kind of avoid the topic, there's situations in life where it becomes unavoidable. So I thought that part was interesting. Other than that, eh. Um, even Laura and Martin Gray was it was it was somewhat interesting. I mean, the only thing that really happened was that Martin Gray was naked talking about how Cyrus is not allowing him to see quote unquote Mama because Cyrus is upset, and Laura, is going to probably try to take it upon herself to talk to Cyrus to kind of you know, get, Martin to sit there and see his mother. And Martin also makes another thing as far as listen, you need to sit there and kind of play ball with Cyrus because now that he has his mother back, well, this guy is pretty much just can pretty much do what he wants and whatever. So when Laura was sitting there talking to Curtis, that was one of the things he was sitting there. That was one of the things that she was sitting there saying that she was going to sit there and try to bridge the gap between Cyrus and Martin as far as seeing his mother, whatever. Despite the skeletons in his closet or whatever, or something along those lines that she said. And once again, Laura, you don't exactly have a squeaky pass. I'm just want to throw that out there. Also, Curtis made a remark. Well, Curtis didn't make a remark, but when Curtis was like, me and Jordan, you know, we got a divorce or whatever, and Laura was like, yeah, I know you guys really try to, work hard with that, try to work it out, and, you know, Curtis was like, yeah, we did. No, Curtis, you didn't, but whatever. Honestly, to tell you the truth, at this point, I feel like I sound like a broken record by just acknowledging the fact that Curtis, you really didn't try that hard, but whatever. Um, Other than that, the conversation was just eh. I mean, Curtis talked about his club or whatever nearly being up and running, and he found a sound guy. And I have to tell you, the truth, I was like, there's some things like this and TJ stuff that was just was this really necessary in this episode? Um, Now, Brooklyn. I want to talk about Brooklyn real quick because, one second. Brooklyn talks to Valentine with his lawyer, and at first Brooklyn wants, ELQ back. He wants all the shares that Valentine collected, back, and Valentine's like, no. But they do agree on giving back, her shares back to Brooklyn. So they agree on that. But here's the thing: the shares is only going to be back towards Brooklyn when the baby's born. So now Brooklyn's like, now where am I actually going to sit there and find a baby at? Here's the thing. Something in the writing room. One second. Sorry, I wasn't throwing that song. Something in the writing room. Somebody must have got their wires crossed. Here's the thing. I can't understand for the life of me. How did Brooklyn come up with this half-ass plan? What did she thought her end game was? That Valentine was just going to give over full control of ELQ and, what Brooklyn was just going to sit there and say, psych, I don't have a baby, so, joke's on you. What was her end game? And I only sit there and say this because before Brooklyn left, Brooklyn was Smith there looking at the baby test or whatever, and They didn't sit there and give you an answer one way or the other. Was it false? I mean, was it negative or positive? And I'm sitting there thinking, I feel like Brooklyn was supposed to somehow actually have a real baby, and they scrapped the storyline for whatever odd reason, and we're stuck with. Well, I'm not gonna sit there and say we're stuck with, but this is the result of a storyline getting switched. Now we all know the end game. Max is gonna sit there and want to giving her baby to Brooklyn, but I'm just like, listen, Brooklyn may be impulsive, but she's not entirely stupid. So I don't understand how she cooked up this plan when she was in Bensonhurst, came back to Port Charles, and had an idea about trying to get the company back from Valentine and trying to use a fake baby to do it. Like, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. And I think this is the reason why when I've been sitting there doing these reviews and I've been talking about Brooklyn and everything like that and about her whole trying to get back the company from Valentine and this whole thing, I'm like, am I doing this review wrong? Like, is this something that I'm doing wrong? If I'm saying something wrong, is my notes not correct? And I realized, no, this has nothing to do with me. This has everything to do with the writers and, like, whatever this mess of a storyline is. And I felt like they tried to clean it up the best way that they could. And I don't know if this is due to COVID. I don't know what it is, but something went wrong in the writing room. And I can't be the only person that's sitting there thinking about this. I know I can't. I just can't. Carly. Carly goes to see Jason. Now, Britt was with Jason earlier. And, Britt was sitting there worried about Jason, talking about, you're this super skilled fighter. Like, what happened? Like, also talking about Cyrus and everything like that. There's a point where Britt starts to have her hand tremble again. Jason grabs her hand and practically tells her everything's gonna be okay. Don't worry about it. Carly walks in the room and sees that and gets like, I'm like, Carly, what is your deal? Like, like she looked at them holding hands like, like Britt was holding his man. Like Britt was holding, you know, like Jason and Carly are in a relationship or something. That's the look that she had on her face. So she walks in there and she was just like, "What the hell? What are you doing here?" And she's like, being all nasty and mean and bossy and everything like that. I was like, Carly, you do realize that, like, she is the chief of staff, and you technically shouldn't be in here. She is doing you a favor, and this is the attitude that you're sitting there giving towards her. So, Britt, sitting there saying that she's going to try to compare the drug that the kid or whatever, I guess, OD'd from to Cyrus's drug. Now, she looks at it and she's like, it's a 95% whatever match. At some point, when Britt is sitting there looking at this computer, Cyrus walks up right behind her. Britt tries to does her best to like switch the screen or whatever, and it's like, oh, I'm just checking labs and doctors, making sure that, we're all on the same page. With that being said, Britt leaves. Cyrus gives her to look like, yep, she's gonna be next. And when she comes back to look at the computer, I guess to try to check something, her access is denied. I'm sitting there thinking, Britt, you are so screwed. Because now Jason isn't on the outside where he can sit there and protect you. Apparently, he doesn't have as much sway or as much pull as he really should have. And now that he's going to be back in prison, Britt is on her own. So that's going to suck. And of course, Cyrus walks in on Carly and Jason. And after, he practically says he's going to fire the guard because why the hell are you here? He's like, well, you know what? Listen, I'm going to make sure that I take really good care of you in this hospital. You're going to get the best treatment possible. Cyrus, you couldn't have just... At this point, why don't you just openly just threaten him at this point? Because that was pretty much the same thing. What else we got? So let's talk about Jordan and Sean. There's so many characters in this episode, and I'm just like, before I get to that, and I actually had to sit there and redo this review because I just didn't like how it came out the first time. Sometimes with GH, I'm always kind of worried a little bit that I miss something, that I miss talking about this particular character. And I said this yesterday, that I'm just like, you guys just jam-pack so many people in this episode, and half of the time it's not really necessary. Like the whole Molly and TJ stuff, y'all could have just left out and just focus it more on certain more crucial characters. And yeah, even when I'm doing my Days reviews, and granted I love GH more, but with Days I'm just like, you kind of focus on actual characters. You may have like maybe 5 or 6 characters, but you kind of focus on them more. And with GH, you just kind of just throw in a bunch of characters and be like, all right, we got an hour filled up, go. So I'm always sitting there wondering if I'm actually doing a good job, because I'm just like, Jesus Christ, did I forget someone? I felt like I forgot someone. Anyway, Sean and Jordan. Now, I've been a fan of Sean since the quote unquote Balkan days. I remember when the Balkan came in and Sean was looking at Jason. And he wasn't just looking at Jason. This guy was literally sitting there sizing Jason up. And right then and there, I was like, this is gonna be my other character. They keep him around. This is gonna be my other character. Anyway, clearly there's still bad blood between Sean and Jordan. But first of all, Sean is still pissed off at the fact that he's in jail. And, Jordan more or less is like, well, you hang around with a bad crowd, so, I don't know what to tell you. They talk about that. They talk about TJ. And at one point, Jordan is like, listen, I don't regret the lie that I told, but I regret, the hurt and the damage that I caused. Sean more or less forgives her because Sean realizes that, he loved TJ like he was a son before he even knew. And so, knowing after, it really didn't make that much of a difference. But I don't know, I'm kind of a petty person, and I might have kind of still been hung up on a lie. Also, the reason why Jordan is there because, well, Sean stabbed Jason. And, Sean's like, it was in self-defense. He came at me. Things happen. You know how it is in prison. Towards the end, honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm not going to lie, nothing comes from it. Because Jordan's like, well, I guess it was self-defense. So, oh well. And she pretty much just tells Sean to just kind of keep his head on a swivel. Other than that, no other major, other major stuff happens that I can think of. And yes, I think, with that being said, I think that's actually about it. If I missed anything, and I don't know why, but for the life of me, I feel like I did. If I missed anything, write it down in the comment section below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? It's kind of hard to sit there and say that I like it. I mean, I actually like the side story stuff because something actually happened. And I feel like this is going to be the beginning of, well, it's going to be the first part of a long downhill spiral for Nina. Because Jax saw Sonny. Now, of course, he's going to wake up and they're going to be like, oh, it was blood loss and yada, yada, yada. But I feel like this is the beginning of Nina's downfall. So, and because I'm a petty person, and like I said, I will be having cake. Cake will be on deck. And I hope everyone will join me and why am I putting this on there? I hope everyone will sit there and join me on some cake. And yes, I think that's about it. So yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Damn, I'm not gonna lie. I just have to sit there and point out, like, Nixon Falls. And thank you by the way for letting me know that it was Nixon Falls and it was Jersey, because for some odd reason, I kept forgetting. Nixon Falls is starting to get like the Wild West. I mean, I know crime is rampant there, but like, damn, first is the Tano, now is the fundraiser. And, even Sonny was like, yo, there's like maybe $100 in here. Really? Like, you gonna like risk like murder for like $100? You know, never mind. I'm not even gonna sit there and bring that up. With that being said, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe. What your thoughts are in the comment section below. Have a great weekend. I will see you in the next video.